Stanford University.
Hi. We are born to learn, to develop our skills, to have an impact on the world. And if you don't believe me, just take a look at this. This is a colleague's 5-month-old nephew who just turned on the computer for the first time. But that's old. Even at birth, we learn an amazing amount, much more than we ever suspected. But just a few years later, we start seeing this and this. My work is about why this happens and what we can do about it. In my work, we find that students can have different perspectives on their intelligence, talents, and abilities. When they're in more of a fixed mindset, they believe their talents and abilities are just these fixed traits. They have a certain amount, and that's it. This makes them afraid of learning. They're so worried about looking smart and not looking dumb that they back off from challenging learning. But when they're in more of a growth mindset, they can forget about smart and dumb. They can focus on developing their abilities. As a result, they take on challenges. They are more resilient in the face of setbacks, and they learn more. This was writ large in a recent study we did with all of the 10th graders in the country of Chile, 160,000 students. We were able to assess their mindsets, and we had access to their achievement test scores in language and math. And what we found was that at every single level of family income, the students who endorsed more of a growth mindset substantially outperformed the students who endorsed more of a fixed mindset. And what was really remarkable was that many of the poorer students who had a growth mindset were performing at the level of much, much, much richer students who had more of a fixed mindset. What's really exciting to us is that we're learning more and more about how to teach students a growth mindset. In one of our early studies, we took a bunch of students making that really difficult transition to 7th grade. Many of them were already showing declining scores, especially in math. Half of them were taught terrific and useful study skills, but the other half was taught a growth mindset with those study skills. They learned that when they stepped out of their comfort zone to do hard things, and they stuck to them, the neurons in their brain could form new connections, stronger connections, and over time, they could get smarter. This message was thrilling to the kids. And when we checked in on them at the end of the year, we found that the students who had just learned the useful study skills were continuing to show declining grades, especially in math. But those that had learned the growth mindset with their skills caught fire and showed a sharp rebound in their grades. Now, in today's world, learning doesn't stop at school. It doesn't stop in the classroom. In a recent study, we looked at a group of Fortune 500 companies, and what we found was that people were very easily able to say whether they were in a growth mindset company that valued everyone's development or a fixed mindset company which was focused on talent. And what we found was that people in the growth mindset companies said they felt empowered to learn, innovate, and create. And the managers told us they saw much more potential among their young workers for learning, rising, becoming stars within the company. The irony is that in the fixed mindset companies, they're identifying the talent, buying the talent, grooming the talent. But a few years later, they didn't see those people blossoming to the same extent. And thinking very, very big, we have a whole program of research in the Middle East. We are finding that when we teach Israelis, Jewish Israelis or Palestinians, a growth mindset about groups, the idea that groups aren't fixed, they have the capability to grow and develop. When they learn this, they want to learn more about each other, and they're willing to entertain compromises for the sake of peace. This is a very, very small beginning to a very, very big problem, but we may just have found a takeoff point for learning. Recently, we've encountered a mystery. We always thought adults with a growth mindset would create kids with a growth mindset. It was so nice to think that. Those were the days. But we're wrong. And it turns out that many adults with a growth mindset are not passing it on. And in one study, Kathy Luson, working with Joe Bowler in the Ed School, found that many math teachers in middle school had a growth mindset. They even said the words growth mindset in their classroom. But unless they were teaching for conceptual understanding, unless they were giving feedback to students that deepen their conceptual understanding, and unless they gave kids a chance to revise, to show their growing understanding, those kids did not develop a growth mindset about math. In my lab, Kyla Heimovitz, my graduate student, and I are finding that many parents endorse a growth mindset. But if they react to their kids' failures or difficulties with anxiety, concern, those kids are not developing a growth mindset. But when they react to the kids' setbacks or failures as an interesting platform for learning, let's see what you did, let's see what we can do now, those are the kids who are developing a growth mindset. Putting it all together, we are thinking really, really big and working really, really hard so that everyone, children, adults, no matter what age, can look like this again. Thank you.
For more, please visit us at stanford.edu.